You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of EHAS Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes, welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at EHAS CLUB. And I'm telling you guys, I'm excited because, we got a big bad singer in the house, man. We got a big bad man of culture. Got a little bit of that Caribbean thing. Go on, man. Go on, man.
Yeah.
So listen, guys, with no further ado, help me welcome to the show, Miss Elyjah Tribe, yeah?
Yes, indeed, brother. Honored, love, and respect always, man.
So, hey, man, I gotta ask you, man, because our show is, man, we let our guests take our listeners back, and so we want to go back before the artists were born, before the artists got created, before you even know that, you know what, man, I got some skills here. I want to see what that looked like in the big world. So take us back, man. Where you born and all that stuff, man?
Yeah, man. Born and raised in San Jose, California. I grew up Northern California, Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley. Incredible place to grow up, man. Homes of the Black Panthers themselves, man. A very rebellious place,
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Beach boy, man. Spent a lot of time outside, man. Riding bikes, doing music since I was about 7 years old.
Wow, man. Hey, so because I've always heard, powerful stuff about the Black Panthers, man. In your earlier years, man, was that ever a thing for you guys, like, growing up with what they were doing and what that looked like for you to see?
Yeah, man. So, like, my biggest thing, my parents, they graduated from San Jose State, and there was two legendary runners, track runners. Everybody remembers when they put up the fist and they lost their Olympic medals. So my parents were, they grew up in that era. They went to that school and they saw how devastating that was. That, standing up for your freedom, man, meant like losing, their medals and everything. So it was it's just a revolutionary space, man. It's a lot of culture, a lot of music. Every nationality is represented out there in California, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that culture of the rebel is very predominant in Berkeley, Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, all the things like that.
So going to school in Berkeley, man, what was that like, man?
Man, it was nice, man. I went to St. Mary's College of California, man, and it's a little bit outside of Berkeley, about 15, 20 minutes, and it was amazing, man. It was a private, more of a Catholic school. Grew up Baptist Christian, so didn't go to many of the church ceremonies there. It was a little bit cultish, but but yeah, man, it was a beautiful place, man. Beautiful people, good culture. Very expensive,
yeah.
But taught me so much, man. Some of the best players, man, in the world are in the Bay Area for sure, man. So just taught me a lot. I was mentored by Louis Belson. He lived in San Jose, California. He used to play drums for like Etta James, Brown, and Frank Sinatra. So that's why I'm a bad man on that drum set, man. Because of my mentor, Louis Belson. Yeah, man.
So I gotta ask you, man, because when you're good in the drums, the church, they invite you, man, to come play. You ever go play the drums in the church?
Man, what's crazy, big bro? A lot of my musicians. When I was younger, I was a little bit more timid than I am now. Now I'm 6'8", got some, got my rastas, a little bit of culture here. I got my tattoo, a lot more confident. But in the beginning, man, it's competitive, man. Some of the best musicians in the world, singers, players, come out of gospel church. You know that as well.
Right.
But yeah, man, I was more of a singer back then, man. I just make everybody cry in the morning. 7 years old, big old afro. Yes, Jesus loves me. That stuff. But that's where I got my stage presence. About 400 people in the church, man, big church, and conquered a lot of my stage fright and stuff. As a young kid.
That's beautiful, man. the upbringing now, you get into college, you know you want to do music. Did you ever like say, you know what, music is the backup plan? There's this career that I want to go after. Did you ever had in a mindset like that?
Man, it's crazy, man. Music, it's just been a part of me, man, my whole life. My parents, because I'm 6'8", these pushed me to basketball and, wide receiver in football, but my heart's in music. My grandmother, who basically like pretty much raised me away from my parents, I was always with her 5 days a week. She was a organist, in gospel. So I had trouble reading as a kid. I wasn't really good at reading music. But my grandma always told me, you play from your heart. That's it.
Yeah.
And my ear was so strong, similar to there's a movie called Drumline.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know that one. Yeah, man. So it's just eventually, of course, I learned to study. But yeah, man, I was just a young kid. If I heard it, so I played 9 instruments,
Right.
And just if I hear it, I can play it, man. So that was a huge influence, man, on my life.
That's amazing, man. So I gotta say, man, because you gifted with a height. Would you say that the passion for the music took you away from wanting to focus on sports, like getting into maybe basketball or football?
Man, you know what's crazy, man? I was a really good basketball player, man. I got recruited, highly Santa Clara, Stanford, St. Mary's, were scouting me. But for me, I just didn't have that competitive edge. I think that's the biggest thing about me is your purpose is what drives you every day. You know what I'm saying? And music is just, it was my thing. And everybody's like, why aren't you playing basketball? Why aren't you, And I did it. I was good, man. But my passion's been in being on stage and playing instruments and singing, But no, all the time people are like, well, you in the NBA, How tall are you every single day,
Yeah. Oh, man, listen, man. There's guys that go crazy for the height you got, bro. So, I can understand that. That's a beautiful thing. So you kind of developed this style that got like an island vibe to it, like that cool fever vibe, like who are some of the people that you would say put you in that headspace, man, to be grooving the way you groove?
Man, so once again, being trained by Louis Bellson, who was James Brown's drummer, that funk was always in me, that soul and R&B.
Right.
But my life changed. Big ups to, Kez Namdi and Kalissa, Chronix. I was able to produce, that's the song Weekend.
Yeah.
I had the honor of producing that. It was all myself, produced that track for Kez Namdi and man, Kalissa and Ja 9 and all them. And they really helped me to cultivate my authenticity and my sound. I have kind of a raspiness to my voice,
Yeah.
So that growl, they like embrace that, embrace that soul, and just listen to B.B. King growing up, man. Biggest influence is probably Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire and all that. So yeah, it's just in my soul, man. I feel like you can't fake the funk, brother.
Yeah,
you gotta have the funk, but you can't fake that. You know what I mean?
I like that, man. And with a lot of where the music is today, like, between the jazz, the blues, the R&B, for you, like, so when you, like, would you say you already find a niche, or you still feeling out the areas of your sound?
Yeah, man. So I just tapped into my sound for sure. When you sing gospel music, the thing about it, some of the best singers in the world. I mean, we're talking Aretha Franklin, we're talking, Nina Simone, Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, people like that. For me, man, it's really tapping into, for me, I do all genres, because when you play so many instruments, right, you have to understand as a drummer, if you play gospel, play some reggae, funk, and jazz, you're one of the great. You're basically in those main genres, and then the rock elements. Being from California, rock, man, alternative rock is huge, bro. Reggae is huge. So for me, I do probably 5 genres, but a lot of artists can't really go back and forth. It sounds like they are imitating.
Right.
For me, I studied rock and roll, man. I studied jazz, I studied reggae, I studied R&B, I studied soul. So for me, I'm very much a student of music. but I'm one of those few artists who really can do every genre.
Right.
But not a lot of artists can say that. You know,
Right.
it sounds like you imitate. So when I do reggae, it sounds like, you know, Rude Boy Rasta Man. You know, when I do jazz, you're gonna hear that Coltrane, that Thelonious Monk, right? When I do funk, you're gonna hear that, you know, with some little Bootsy Collins on them. You heard what I'm talking about?
Ooh, Bootsy Collins, huh?
Yeah, man.
Oh man,
yeah, man.
that's.
So I'm a student.
Yeah, I like that, man. And you know, if you was to think back, you know, just before you even start, you know, getting your own break right now, you know, putting out your own music, what was one show that you would say was that show you went to see, man? Like you went to go see these performers and you're like, you know what? This is it.
Man, you know what's wild? I would definitely say Stephen Marley's show. He performed in Berkeley, at the University Stadium, and I had the honor and pleasure of meeting him. You know, rest in peace to his eldest son, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, and all that. But honestly, that's when, because it sounded just like the record, man. I've never seen an artist truly just sound the same level of precision live.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I saw that dedication to the people. I mean, his band was rocking, man. The backup singers were singing the harmonies just perfect. And that's when I really knew. I was like, you know what? If I could perfect, you know, loving myself and expressing that vulnerability, you know, Stephen, when he was on that tour, he was singing that one, will you ever break us apart?
Yeah.
Let them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I knew, I'm like, I know I can sing that good, but can I be dedicated to the art? But no, it changed my life, man. Honestly, I mean, it was incredible. Probably about maybe 3,000 people in the arena. And that's when I just knew, I'm like, I can do this, you know, and it's not about where you come from. It's about your heart, the dedication to your art form.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing is not imitating. That's one thing I learned now where I have people coming up saying, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for talking about being suicidal and your traumas and your daughter. And, you know, so I think that authenticity is what really defines me as an artist, because you can't fake it. Like no one can say, like, I just say my story. If a girl broke my heart, you helped me make a new song. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. So, you know, before we go into you, like, you know, starting to create responsibilities that you got to take care of, siblings. How many siblings?
One sibling, older sister. Her name's Charity Youngblood, incredible life coach doing her thing. But she's the one who really pushed me to be a great singer. I wasn't always a great singer. She was like the best singer in our family, man. It sounded like Whitney Houston, riffs for days, and just, you know. And so she inspired me a lot. And she was a pianist, but I couldn't read the music. And so I used to drive her crazy because, like, a song like, you know, like Farrah Lee's da 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 da. I couldn't read it, but she would get so mad at me because she would play and then she would get off the piano and I would play it just like she just played, you know?
Wow.
And, yeah, but big influence on my life was definitely my sister, my older sister. She's about 4 years older than me. I'm 35. She'll be 40 this year.
Oh, okay. So she's still out there in California, or she...
Yeah, she's in San Francisco. Yeah. She's out there doing her thing, man, helping the people, doing life coaching and, you know, in the spiritual healing arts and everything like that.
That's beautiful, man. Yo, so, you know, you're in a space now where you looked at as a lion, you know, you got the dreads. You know, I know, you know, people look at you and be like, yo, if you ever go to Jamaica and vibe with them Rastafarians, passing the kush.
The challenge, yes, sir.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Like, because people always see that culture and they're like, it's so cool, but they never quite understand, like, the drums, the chalice, you know, making the puffs or making the rounds, man. What's your take on that, bro?
Man, you know what's wild, man? Growing up, I remember the first time I went to Kingston. I had the honor and pleasure of staying with Kiz Namdi and his beautiful family, the McDonald's, you know. And one of the things that I always was asking him, like, man, you know, when I was out there, man, I was bald-headed, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have the dreads and stuff. But the thing about the Rasta culture, I think, that is most misunderstood is people just associate it with, you know, herb, you know, and you know, the reggae, you know. But it really is about self-discovery, right?
Yes.
The Ethiopian Bible starts with the book of Enoch, right? And a lot of us in America, we have this watered down, European version of the word,
Right.
And so for me, it's really being Rasta. It's more than just the food and the herb. It's healing yourself and healing others. You know what I'm saying? It's really walking on because we all know that Yahushua. We knew he had some dreadlocks.
Yeah.
He was a brown man, he's an African man, and so I think the biggest thing about the Rasta culture that I've learned is it's really about self-healing, man, and it's not so much. It's been so commercialized out here, you know what I'm saying? And people just don't understand. But when you really are around Rastas, they don't preach a bunch of go to this church, do this, do that. It's just love yourself, heal yourself, eat from the earth, make music from the earth. And I loved that out there in Kingston, I had learned that you guys can't cuss out there on the radio. You know what I'm saying? And that part, you feel me? And so my grandmother always used to tell me, she said, if you can't play a song for your daughter or for me, don't make it.
Don't
you know
make
what
it.
I mean?
Yeah.
Don't make it, man. So the Rastafarian culture for me was just a spiritual revolution. As they say, a herb is a healing of the nation. No one has committed a mass murder from smoking herb, bro. No one has, died from a herb overdose, and worked in dispensaries for a number of years. So I've seen the healing benefits, man, and I've seen people go from being in a wheelchair to walking from cannabis, and from herb. And I've seen, just the mental health awareness, the self-healing, the introspection, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's just, it's a misunderstood culture, man. But as I research it more and more, it's one that I gravitated towards, and the most beautiful, culture that I've seen.
Oh man, listen, man, that is well put together right there, man. I appreciate you putting that out there like that, just for individual to understand. You're not just another brother with the dreads, man. You understand the culture and stuff like that.
Man.
Yeah, man. So that's a beautiful thing right there. So, now, because, I noticed in, some of your music, you have a few collaborations.
Yeah.
And then you got the standalones as well. Which is more challenging?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance. Through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops, we help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
EHAS is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit EHAS.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
Honestly, the collaborations are rarely a challenge, because when I work with an artist, I don't tell them what to write, how to write. I just tell them to pick a topic, and I try to work with people who are at my level or better than me. And I think that that's the biggest thing. So I would definitely say working on my own is actually more of a challenge, just because you don't really know how your audience, right, or your fans are going to receive your music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that that's the biggest thing. Whereas, like when you're by, like when I record, I don't have a bunch of groupies and a bunch of Hennessy in the booth. It's just me, the engineer, and I play everything. So everything you hear for the most part, away from the collaborations and saxophones and trumpets, it's all me, man. I'm doing the drums, I'm doing the bass, I'm doing the guitar, I'm doing the keys, I'm doing the harmonies. the writing. So it's really kind of like a war against myself in the studio versus with collaboration, right? You know, someone else you can kind of lean on, hey, you know, what do you think of this part? And like you have a teammate, but when you by yourself, it's me against me, man. There's no one else telling me how to sing. If I'm off key, if the lyrics aren't good, you know. So yeah, man, I think I've cried in the studio. The album Fatherhood I recorded, I gotten COVID, had 104-degree fever for like half of that album, man. I couldn't taste anything.
Wow.
I was sick, and a lot of the music I record, I mean, I thought I was dying, man. You know, when you know, and so yeah, I would definitely say battling myself is definitely more of a challenge than working with others.
Now, parents, what's the relationship like in the path that you've chose, you know, as an artist? What's the relationship like with the parents, mom and dad?
Man, my parents are some of the most incredible people in the world. You know, they made their mistakes as parents, but they also gave unconditional love. Man, my mom is a Jesus warrior. Man, you ain't gonna be my mama without her praying for you. You know, quoting some Bible verses. So we always had an anointed family. Man, my father is a lot more technical. He's an international high school business teacher, but he used to work for like IBM for programming, so computer engineering, and you know, Silicon Valley, Cisco Systems, Google, all that kind of stuff. So, but he was hard on me, man. He's from Detroit, Michigan, right? So the Motor City, you know. So it was like kind of like a hood dad who's really smart raising me, you know. So he was rough on me, man. He's a real alpha male. You know, when I look a man in their face, you know, shake a person, you know, hand with some grip to it, you know. If you do something, put your whole heart in it, you know. But high education, both my family, my mother and father, multiple master's degrees. My mother's a teacher. She's been teaching college education for years, man. You know, accounting, Excel, you know, Microsoft Word, English. And yeah, man, it was always just a challenge of my mind with my parents, because they were yelling quite a bit. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They were always arguing. My house was loud, bro. It was like drums everywhere. But yeah, man, no, beautiful family, man. They've been married for 40 years. So, you know, my dad, he also taught me the realness that ladies sometimes don't know how to be as peaceful as us men. They always want to cause a little chaos. We just want to, so that'll be a different topic probably. But yeah, man, no, they're very, very religious Christian family, man. Can't say I've ever, you know, had to, you know, starve or anything like that, or, you know, anything, but, you know, very supportive. And that's why me as a father, it's easy to take care of my daughter, because, you know, I had two parents who loved each other and they went through their issues, but they stuck together. Nowadays, you rarely see that. You know, couples want these little, you know, superficial type thing. One little argument, you want to get a divorce and stuff like that. They told me to stick to your family, man. You know, man. And me and my sister, we know what it means to really commit in relationships and in life. You know,
that's good, man. Would you say your daughter is a daddy's girl?
Oh yeah, man, that's my baby Azalea. Big shout out to she just turned 4 a few days ago, actually. Yeah, man, she's just like me, man. She's been playing drums. I used to tour with her. I used to take her for the last song. I'll bring her on stage and play some drums and everything like that with me, man. Yeah, just a beautiful soul, man. And changed my life for the better.
I love that, man. So you have a piece called Tension. How did that came about, bruv?
Oh man, you did your research. Okay, I see you, big brother. Big ups. Man, you know, tension came from me finally speaking up on what men go through sometimes all around the world. But here in America, there's this hyper push towards women being like, I could do it on my own, and you know, I don't need a man. And this is the first time in the past probably decade where a lot of men are coming out saying, wait a second, we can be fathers too. You know, we can love like you love. You aren't better than us just because you can make children. We made that child together. You know what I'm saying? And so it changed my life, man, because tension, when I say, you know, how you independent when you're vicious, so malicious, right? Always flapping your gums. You don't never handle business. And I don't got a mixture. So, you know, it was about being accused of cheating because I'm always on tour, man. And I've been married 2 times, man. And I'm faithful when I'm loving somebody, you know. Now, you know, when the right person comes along, you know, we'll see what happens. Right now I'm dating just throughout my life. But it was really from codependency. The whole concept was a lot of relationships I feel are very conditional. And it's this forcing of live with this person who you really don't know, right? You get married, and the next thing you know, little things like the way a person puts the toothpaste cap can annoy the heck out of you, or where, you know what I'm saying, leaving their socks on the floor. You know, it's just this forcing of two people to live together when they don't really know each other. And so when I say like, you know, codependency, it's like no one can make you happy besides you. You have to be happy before. You can't expect your partner, your wife, your husband to make you happy. And so that whole song was just like clenching my jaws to eat up that pride and not speak up for the unhappiness in the relationship. And yeah, man, so that it was just kind of me speaking up for other men out there, you know, going through, like, it's not always our fault. There are bad women out there, there's mean women out there, there's cruel men, but that whole song was standing up for the fellas for a change. To be like, sometimes when we're doing everything right, sometimes you ladies be acting a little spicy for no reason, you know.
For no reason. So I gotta say, man, so my latest book, you know, Escaping the Darkness, when I heard you piece Darkness, you know, for me, I wanted to like, okay, somewhere in this interview, I wanted to find out from you, where were you at, you know, like at what point in your life when you did, actually, not when you first laid down, but when you put it on paper, what was going through your head, man, when you did Darkness?
Man, so Darkness was on my first album, Authentic Awareness, you know, and, you know, Yahweh works in mysterious ways, man. That was my song, because I think a lot of people, man, we always want to speak on the negative of others, and we all have what I truly believe is a shadow self and a light self, right? We have angels and demons always in us, right? Even Yahushua or Jesus in the Bible got tempted, you know, being the son of the Most High, you know. So for me, Darkness really came from a space of, if I was to tell the world one message, right? In the darkness is where you find your truth, right? And it applies to much more than just symbolic shadows everybody think of. We all come from Africa, right? We are the original people. So in the darkness, outer space, there's more space, right? There's more blackness, there's more culture, there's more indigenous than there are European. And so it's very symbolic of the truth is, the more we go back to study the principles of our ancestors, the more we go back to the principles of growing our own food, of living off the land, of bartering, of living in the tribe, you know, that's where it came from. It was like almost like a plea to humanity that, like, you got to stay woke, but you have to live woke. Stay woke has been this trend. Stay woke, I'm woke. You can be awake, but you can still be, you know, you can be dreaming while you're walking around, okay? Daydreaming. Dreaming while you're awake, right? You know, and so Darkness, that's what it was, man. It was my true kind of like call to the world to take arms of your own soul, spiritual warfare. So you got to face that darkness and figure out how to lighten up those traumas, right? And those triggers and that abuse and things like that we've been through. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I wrote that. That was one of the probably the first song that I was truly authentically vulnerable, not worrying about what people thought about it, but really trying to speak on society and Babylon and the programming and social media and all of it, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have a few pieces that, you know, you bring out your romantic side as well. You know, of course, you gotta have your listeners kind of feel a little bit of your pain or, you know, what that look like.
Yes, sir.
What piece would you say is the most challenging piece for you to write and say, you know what, this is the final touch, this is what I'm going with, this is what I want to put out there?
For the love songs?
Yeah.
Man, you know, my favorite love song I made was probably the toss-up between All Night and Day.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Go ahead.
That's crazy. That's crazy you say that, bro, because originally, the original question that I was going to hit you with was what was going on with you when you wrote All Night, All Day. But
man, I'm telling you, bro. So All Night and Day, it was the only song I can truly say was about a woman who I actually was in love with. I don't really, like, a lot of the songs I write was kind of more like hypothetical, like for me, you know, gratitude. And All Night and Day was the most vulnerable song. JoJo Caroline was writing about her boyfriend at the time, and I was writing about Azalea's mother. We're no longer together. No disrespect to her, you know, or anything like that. It is what it is. But that song actually led to us really splitting up, because the whole time I was writing about her, and like I was so excited to show her. I'll never forget. I got done writing that song because I was a stepfather. She had 3 other kids and dealing with, baby daddy drama, the whole thing. And I get home and I'm so excited because I like show her the song, and I'm like, and she's like, "Oh, well, I know that you were intimate with the girl on the song." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you mean?" And so it was kind of like a gift and a curse, because the whole song, it really made her so vulnerable that I saw her. I never felt a love like this. See, when twin flame touch lips, the room starts moving, the bedroom booming. Loyal to my queen, you're my exclusive. No matter from touring, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was really me pleading and confessing this love. I mean, it's a woman who made my child, man.
Yeah.
I still love to this day, we'll never get along, don't matter. But no, All Day was true me going into how I felt about it. It's the only song that truly is about one lady that I actually was, dating and in love with. So that's crazy you say that too, man. Yeah, that was a very vulnerable one.
Yeah, that's beautiful, So, because for me, man, I do like to. I don't listen to songs just to listen to songs, or
yes, sir,
whatever music it is. I listen to see what's coming from it. What am I getting from this? What's going on with the artist, or what can 100%. I learn from this? So,
100%.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. What I want you to do now, though, because we're getting ready to drop this piece, I want you to just tell the listeners about this piece called Let's Ride before we jump it off.
So Let's Ride I wrote 13 years ago. It was a song really about letting women out there know that sometimes there's one quote that it isn't 100 years old, it's thousands of years old, and all of us know it. It says, "Hell has no fury like
right.
a woman scorned," right?
Right.
And for me, it's not a song where I'm trying to bash on ladies, but I have noticed in relationships, the more calm I am, the more relaxed I am, right?
Yeah.
Women are kind of shocked of that energy, right? But I really feel like Let's Ride is almost a tribute to letting women know that you'll know whether or not a man loves you or not. Mm-hmm. But you have to also realize all that drama, all that gossip, change this, do that, trying to change your partner. Some men really do want to just enjoy a woman for who they are. Right. And I think that the patriarchy in our society and the way that, a lot of ways, we've broken down our women to not be able to make decisions without worrying about consequence. And I talk to a lot of women about this all the time, which is why I had to finally record the song, is that when men do things, sometimes we ain't worried about the consequences. We just gonna go and do it, right? Because society allows us the freedom to make different kind of mistakes, right? And so Let's Ride is really an in-depth tribute to enjoy your time, enjoy those dates, enjoy that man who's holding you through your tears, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to always be around this drama. I truly believe men are more simple than women. Right. Some women would disagree, but most men agree. Yeah. And it's not because most men, we genuinely just want some food, some good music, pretty honey next to us, enjoy time with our families, and get in that gym and work on ourselves. We're not thinking about I want to go home and argue. We're not thinking so that's what it's about, man. It's just going back to that purity of love, where that joy can come back, like having that partner. So when I'm going, let's ride, just me and you, what lovers do for the lady. Let's ride, right? It's let's ride. Remember Aladdin? I'll show you the world.
Yeah.
You try to take Jasmine on a magic carpet ride.
Right. So listeners, we're not don't just let Mr. Tribe give you guys the teaser like that. We're gonna let you guys hear this piece right here, man. So right here, right now in EHAS Club, you guys get to hear Let's Ride.
Let's ride.
be afraid, 'cause in your eyes I see the same. Lady, I'm trying like a brain. Don't even trouble, even trouble. Better take care of those kids, girl. Holy Spirit, you gon' get done. Where my ladies at independent. Not perfect, but handling your business. Let's embrace this time. Wanna take you home. Imagine you're right, let's ride. Just me and you, what lovers do. Lovers do, pretty baby. Let's ride. Yeah, stop it, man. You're too bad, man. You're too bad.
Oh, respect, bro.
You're too bad, man. Hey, let me ask you, man. What's one of the show that you got booked on, man, that you just felt the energy of the crowd just have you going crazy on stage, bro?
Man, the craziest one was a festival we did in Idaho. It was called the Melaleuca Festival. They do a big festival out there on 4th of July, man. Probably had about 30,000 people out there, man. It was just insane. The crowd was going crazy. I've actually performed Let's Ride there as well. But yeah, man, it's just I do all original music. I rarely do covers. One, because I struggle with memorizing other people's lyrics.
Yeah.
And I've always just been weird about, I don't, when you grow up, you got to learn different covers and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it was mad, man, mad vibes. Having 20,000 people dancing to your stuff and just vibing with you. It was incredible, man. Yeah, the Melaleuca Festival for sure.
That's beautiful, man. You play a little bit of guitar every now and then.
Yes, sir.
What's your take on Jimi Hendrix?
Oh, what do you mean? He invented rock and roll, brother. That's my take. I don't know what anybody else's take. Man, what Jimmy did, man, it's in us as, Earth Tribe people to always be originators, cultivators from the Most High. So that was already in him. But Jimi Hendrix, man, that was one of my biggest, and Lenny Kravitz probably as well. I get that all the time. They're like, you're like Lenny Kravitz. But Jimmy, man, it's so funny because Jimmy was such an insecure musician. That's what a lot of people don't know. He used to record with the lights off or, behind different things. And here everybody is till this day still playing his tunes. But I really do think he revolutionized art, man. It's funny you mentioned him too, because my goal in life is to reinvent Woodstock in a right way. Not that one with Limp Bizkit. That was old. Woo, you seen that documentary? Jeez, don't do that.
That was brutal.
They were burning Babylon, bro. Literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love Jimi Hendrix, huge influence, man, as far as just being him, man, and just being revolutionary, during that time too. I mean, I really think music is a reflection of the culture. I mean, I think that a lot of people always wonder different cultures. Like, you look at the music, you're going to hear and see what the culture's doing. And I think that's why he was so influential, because doing rock and roll music in that way, I mean, he got criticized by black people. They called him the devil worshiper and all these kind of things because, they weren't used to that style. But, I mean, incredible. Jimmy's one of the best to ever do it, brother.
I love it, man. I love it. You got some representative out of Jamaica, Zion. How'd they find her? Or how did you find them?
Oh, big ups to Raquel, Zion, man. Good luck for the link, man. I actually linked up with her through one of my good buddies. Her name's Lucy Morningstar. Y'all, big ups to Lucy. She linked me and Raquel, and it's just been an incredible influence on my life as a human being, encouraging me to just follow my dreams, man. In the States, it's really hard to make it, man.
Yeah.
A lot of times people have to sell their souls or give up rights to their music, but there's this era now of the independent artists, right. and who really pushed that forward. The guys, like Childish Gambino, Kendrick Lamar, before, he moved forward with the majors, and just a lot of J. Cole, guys like that. And it's just, she's been incredible, man. So yeah, Lucy, I actually opened up for a show we did out here in Denver, Colorado. And we met, man, and it's kind of like just been supporting each other ever since. So big ups Raquel, big up Lucy Morningstar. And yeah, she linked me, and Raquel knew all the people I knew, and she's been leading me to the promised land.
Yeah,
I guess we should say.
I like that, man. That's a beautiful thing. Now, as you get bigger, as you get bigger as an artist, what are some of the message that you want your listeners to take from you and look to you for those message?
I would say the biggest message in my music is really to start to heal yourself through artistic expression. I think that the difference between angels and demons in general is angels create because they are following the Most High in whatever capacity you want to call it. Versus demons, I don't really think there's a bunch of people with pitchforks and stuff like that. I think that every day my music is a reflection of the inner demons I battle within myself.
Right.
But the more I work on me, the better my music becomes, the better anyone's life can become. You have to find artistic expression.
Right.
And that's a message you'll find on any project, whether it's fatherhood, whether it's legacy, authentic awareness. Hello.
Yeah.
Authentic awareness is being aware of yourself.
Yeah.
I think the biggest message that is ongoing now and forever in all of my music is that you have one purpose in life, only purpose, and that's to be you. And I think that when you tap into that energy, then you understand I'm no more important than anybody. The only difference between me is I am me. I'm going to live and die every day as me.
Right.
And not a lot of people can say that. And so that's the ongoing message in all my projects. It is just like, heal yourself, man. Heal those traumas, man. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you want to do. And don't listen to nobody trying to stop you. Do it. You can do it. You can do it. So it's just battling that inner voice. You know, you got to do that every single day. Get healthy, be strong, love yourself, and God will do the rest.
I love that, man. What song would you say is your biggest song from Bob Marley?
Man, you know what's wild, man? I would say it's a toss-up between Buffalo Soldier for me and Redemption Song.
Ooh.
Those are, I know, right? I could, one had to go.
Ooh.
Because man, when I was a kid, I had no idea that the song was about the slaves who had to battle and go to war with indigenous people here in America.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and a lot of people didn't know that message, you know, and then Redemption Song is just, come on, man, they can't put words on that.
The whole nother level.
Yes, sir.
Would you say, man, we still have a lot of people that are battling mental slavery in the mind?
Oh, man. Yes, of course, bro. Of course. I think today is a lot worse than it used to be. Back when you didn't have all this, you know, these social media platforms, I see people at concerts, man, filming the concert on their phone instead of watching it. You know, you walk around out here in the States, man, and people got their head down. I think that the mental health is such such an epidemic now because people aren't looking people in the face anymore. You know what I mean? People aren't going to the to the milkman and to the bread man and to, you know, different trades and looking people in the face. And mental health, honestly, I mean, it's tough, man. It's really tough because that vulnerability to check in on people is being diminished by a phone, you know? And I think like back in the day when you ask your friend, how are you? He say, hey man, my wife's driving me crazy. Or, you know, or hey, how you doing? You know, Melinda or something. That's the most random name, Melinda, right? Yeah. But, you know, like people used to talk to people at hair shops and barber shops. But I do think that mental health is something that we all have issues with, but it's almost like people don't talk about it almost at all anymore.
Right.
You know, we pretend we're okay because we bought some new shoes or a new car. And with social media, I mean, it's making the illusion that these people with these Lamborghinis and skyscrapers, whatever, are happy. Right. And so for me, less is more. That's just how I live my life. So yeah, man, mental health awareness is, everybody has traumas and triggers. It's always the person who smiles most in a room who you need to ask if they're really okay. Right. That's one lesson I'm learning in life, man, you know?
Yeah, man. Listen, man, I know the listeners really appreciate those words, man. And for an introvert that's listening, that definitely want to get out of their shell, listening to you, what advice would you give to that introvert?
Man, you know what? I think I heard this quote once in a movie with Denzel Washington, American Gangster. Documentary about Frank Lucas. Right. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest person in the room. Mm-hmm. And I would tell an introvert out there to stay true that you don't have to be the loudest person. You don't have to dress the loudest. You know, Introverts tend to think that there's something wrong with them because they don't want to be the life of the party, or that, they may get shy around people. But I would challenge an introvert to really realize that's a gift.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a talker. If I'm around, I'm making jokes. I'm making everybody. I love attention. I'm kind of,
right.
But I truly feel the introverts are the ones who can truly revolutionize because they're watchers.
Yeah.
They're protectors.
Yeah.
And I think that they're strategists. I think that they should stop thinking because you're an introvert that you're not as important. Okay.
Right.
You an introvert, I think. You don't have to be an extrovert. If you're an introvert, that's beautiful. And I would say embrace yourself as an introvert, and don't think you have to change you. If you don't like being as social with somebody, that doesn't mean you're worse or better. You have your own role that probably is a little bit more organized and not as chaotic because you're observing, you're able to watch.
Right.
I always relate everything with introverts to the lion versus the lioness, right? The lioness is she's the extrovert. She's getting that food. She's out there hunting. She's packing. She's doing this thing. But really, if you look at lions, they're actually more introverts. Lions only react until somebody coming to take their honeys or something like that, or a male trying to. But I do think the real protectors, like if you look at martial arts, Bruce Lee was an introvert. Right. Bruce Lee wasn't at nightclubs all the time, and he's one of the greatest fighters in the world. You know. So I would just say the introvert, be you, and let that shine. Don't think you have to be an extrovert to warm up a room.
That's beautiful, man. What's next for Elyjah?
Man, what's next is this world tour. I'm working right now with big ups to Zion R, Raquel. We're trying to really cultivate one single a month. Big shout outs to Southpaw Films, Nick Chandelo. He's my videographer. Film Let's Ride. Big shout out to Doses Productions who helped produce the track and everything. It's a one new song a month with one new music video a month. Yeah. That's for sure. So we get y'all new music. But no, a ton of music releases. World tour coming up very soon. We got, festivals coming up. Clothing line, merchandise is on its way. But it's really to just spread this music, man, to perform, to stay true to my craft, to work on me, to keep growing, developing, and just keep pushing forward. My goal is to make 100 songs in 100 countries, so I got a little bit more to do.
I like that, man. For everyone that's wondering where to find you, how to find you, what does that look like?
Yes, indeed. The best way to find me is the same name. Best platforms are definitely going to be Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. I always love my fans give us feedback. It's Elyjah Tribe, ELYJAH, and then Tribe. Same on YouTube. We got crazy content coming up. We've been performing probably about 20 times a month now. So it's going to be new content coming up constantly. So best way to find me, Instagram, hit that Spotify, add to your follow, get them likes up here, and Instagram. Yes, indeed.
Oh, man, that's amazing, man. Listen, Elyjah, it was great having you on the show, man. We appreciate you coming, creating some stories with us, and bringing some awareness. And dropping some gems, my bro.
So I'm so honored, brother.
Hey, listen, man, it was beautiful having you on the show. We might have to get you in Florida one of these times, man, just to roll up in the spot, yeah?
Let me know, bro. We'll stay in touch. I'll be out there later this year, so I definitely want to link. Big ups to you, bro. Thank you for the love. Your platform's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So just please keep up the consciousness, man. Love your work.
Hey, man, thank you.
I'm going to buy that book, too. You're going to find a receipt.
I got you. I got you. And listen, man, I'm listening, man. I'm listening. You got me tuned in right now, so I'm listening, my brother.
Hey, respect and love to you always, bro.
Hey, man, enjoy the rest of your time, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Big ups, brother. Love.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.